Hello, Pirates. Welcome to Pioneer Community Connections, the talk show where we bring our school and community together. I'm your host, Judson, and I'm here with your co host, Levi. And today we're starting something really exciting. On this show, we'll be talking with leaders, local business owners, and some people who help make our community awesome. We'll hear their stories, learn about what they do, and find out how we can be more connected right here at Pioneer. And for our very first episode, we have a very special guest, our very own principal, Mrs. Fernandez. Let's get started.
So, Miss Fernandez, we have some questions to ask. We're gonna get to know you first. So, did you always want to work in a school?
Actually, no. Um, I didn't want to be a teacher, from my early years on or anything like that. I know a lot of people aspire to be a teacher because they love their
Mm-hmm.
teachers and they've had great school experiences. And while I loved my teachers, had great school experiences, I didn't grow up wanting to be a teacher because my mom was a teacher, and she primarily taught kindergarten and first grade. There were some other teachers in my family, but I grew up wanting to perhaps do journalism or I in my teen years I was really interested in political science, and I considered maybe going to law school, being an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I didn't grow up wanting to be a teacher. Now, I went to PLU for my undergrad, and I had a work study job where I was tutoring, and um, I was assigned to tutor middle school and high school students, and that was a really great experience for me. I had some really great interactions with kids. I felt like I could help them. I really loved building relationships with them. And I remember when I called my mom, I think it was my sophomore year, and said, "Oh my gosh, Mom, I'm going to be a teacher." I was crying a little. And I explained to her that experience
Mm-hmm.
is what made me want to be a teacher.
What made you want to specifically become a principal?
Well, I didn't want to be a teacher, and I didn't aspire to become a principal. My first 5 or 6 years of teaching, I was appointed department head. I was teaching English and history at the time, and in eighth grade. And my principal said, "Joanne, Mrs. Fernandez, I wasn't Mrs. Fernandez at the time.
Mm-hmm.
My first name's Joanne." That she said, "You're gonna be our English department head." And I would never say no to anything my principal asked me to do. I said, "Okay, I'll rise to the occasion." And she really assured me that I should do leadership in school. And a few years later, I ended up having some changes in my life and pursuing the principalship because I already had one master's degree from early in my teaching career. And so I ended up going back to school to earn that. And that was kind of the course that took me to the principalship.
Where did you teach at before you were at Pioneer?
Yeah, I before being a pioneer, my first teaching job was in the Federal Way School District, and I taught middle school, junior high, and then it became a middle school, and then I taught in Issaquah. In Issaquah was actually where I did my internship to be a principal, and then I went back to Federal Way, and I taught rather I had 1 year as an assistant principal of an elementary school, 1 year because elementary school wasn't right for me. And then I went to, yeah, it's a little bit different. I had a lot of ketchup wiped on me. And, and then I ended up going to back to a middle school where I was an assistant principal and then a principal there. And then I came to Steilacoom.
Yeah, that's awesome. A question about your childhood. What was
Yeah.
middle school like for you?
So there were some ups and downs for me in middle school. Um, I don't, not a lot of people know that when I was in middle school, my dad almost died. He had a very serious and rare condition that required him to get an aortic heart valve replacement. So he almost passed away, and a lot of my teachers and staff at the school knew that I was going through this. So that's really scary to be,
Hmm.
13 and almost lose your
Mm-hmm.
dad. So I had a hard time at that spell of time in middle school. It was a great time for me though because I did love school. I really I had great teachers. I was actually the eighth grade ASB president. But middle school is like a hard time figuring out kind of where you fit and who your friends are.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of change and growth in that year. So that's why I would say I had ups and downs.
Mhm.
What's something that students at Pioneer might be surprised to learn about you?
Well, with the exception maybe of the choir classes, you might be surprised to know that while I did go to PLU, I went to PLU on a vocal scholarship.
Oh,
And so I loved singing. I still do, mostly sing at church now, but I was able to go to PLU on a music scholarship.
That's awesome. Yeah. One more. What's a favorite part of your job? Like, what do you like most about it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Being a principal is really different from being a teacher for a lot of things, and I think that I really I love being in the presence of students in a classroom, learning, engaging. I miss being a teacher for that reason. And I mean, I like being able to do special occasions like this, like where you're interviewing me and I get to kind of be behind the scenes with you. That's really cool. I like being in classrooms because I love seeing students make connections and grow and develop. I miss that about being a classroom teacher, but that's what I love about being a principal is that I get to see that in kind of all grades, all content areas. So that's my joy.
what do you think, what is the Pioneer way mean to you?
The Pioneer Way, well, we have the R's, of
Yeah.
course,
Mm-hmm.
and that's certainly one of those pieces that we want students to not just care about in middle school, but take through their lives, being active learners, respectful, responsible, and safe. And the Pioneer Way to me really means so no matter where you are on campus, or if you're at another school with an athletic event, or you're at the bus stop, um, that you are carrying that with you at all times. And we hope that you carry that through your lifetime of caring about those R's. And you know, you might be miles away from Pioneer, but that what you learned about in the R's and the Pioneer Way sticks with you.
Mm-hmm. Another question. What are you most proud of at Pioneer Middle School?
Most proud of is an easy one for me. It's the students. I've been able to work at 5 different schools in my career, and truly, the students that go to Pioneer are special. You guys are some of the best behaved, the most conscientious. You really care about learning. You're amazing athletes. You're amazing musicians. And we might be a small district with one middle school, but we're a big middle school and we rival all the middle schools in our area. We could stand up to anybody in the state, anybody in the region, or beyond our state. So I'm so proud of being able to say I'm the principal of Pioneer wherever I go. I try to be humble, but I also boast with pride when I
Yeah.
talk about our school and students.
What mindset do you want students to approach school with?
I definitely want you to approach school with a growth mindset. Growth because it's you don't walk into every classroom, every unit, every experience having it all figured out. You need to be led through that. You've got to learn new material, but I want you to approach it with an attitude of keep going, keep keep pursuing. Um, it might be hard, but stick with it. Keep that grit, keep that perseverance, and to develop that for your whole life.
Uh, what advice would you give students who are struggling in school?
Yeah. Um, I and this is the kind of thing I say when I'm meeting with kids one on one or with their parents. Show up every day. Show up every day. If you miss school, you don't have a chance to connect to whatever classes can be that day, whatever learning you can achieve, whatever friendships you can make, whatever support you can receive. Show up every day. You I always feel like you have to if you don't show up, there's nothing gained. But if you show up and even if it's hard, let us support you, let us meet you where you are, and it's possible as long as you're here. So show up.
What do you think students could do if they're having a tough day?
Yeah. We have lots of resources here at our school if you're having a tough day. When you come into our school, you are immediately met with somebody at the door greeting you if it, when you come in before,
Mhm.
8:10 or 8:03. You have three wonderful secretaries, Mrs. Ruby, Mrs. Plum, and Mrs. Duenas, to support you. You have our two wonderful counselors, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Miller, our caring nurse, our campus supervisor, Mr. Ruffin, the three principals to help you, and that's on top of all of the teachers that you have. So um, just rest on the adults that are here for you. We all get up every morning to help you. And that's why we choose to be here, to help you and to support you. So I would say that.
What habits do you think would help students in and outside of school?
Oh, yeah. Um, I'll kind of keep it simple.
Hmm.
Habits for your life are really, I think, centered around some personal organization and keeping track of things. So I would say, and this is another thing on top of showing up for if you're struggling, but a great habit is just keeping yourself organized with your binder. Even if you think you don't have any
Hmm.
homework that night, go through it. Make sure you've noted all the things that you're working on, keeping papers inside of the three ring, going through and looking at your Google Classroom. If everything is electronic, I know we do a lot on Google Classroom,
Hmm.
but keeping your planner or a planner so you're writing down what you're doing and you can keep track of it, telling somebody what you are doing, maybe on a weekly basis, like your folks, or like, I know people are busy, but if you have a one dinner at least together as a family, talk about what you're doing in school, and then setting some sort of goal every week for what you want to be doing in your classes or achieving personally.
Yeah, that's some great advice.
We have a lot of very like cool and awesome things here at Pioneer. What would
Yeah.
you say is your favorite like school event?
Ooh, single event favorite.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna go with eighth grade promotion. Eighth grade promotion is a really special event. I look forward to it every year. It's the culmination of your middle school career and your launch into high school. There's a lot of excitement and promise, and um, it, it's just monumental for your families. You've met that pinnacle event of middle school is over, and you're looking forward to exciting things like driving, and um, it's exciting to earn credits because credits then mean what are you going to do after high school and how are you
Hmm.
going to use those. So I think eighth grade promotion is probably one of my favorite yearly events.
Yeah.
Are
Um,
you thinking about middle school promotion? Daydreaming.
Yeah.
what do you think students can do to help shape our school community?
Ooh, that's a great question. Um, so students can shape our school community by, I think, first, and this is something every student can do, demonstrate the Pioneer Way when you are outside of our school, in the downtown area of DuPont, in the town area of Stillicum, um, being respectful and mature when you are at local
Hmm.
businesses, right? When you are walking down the side of the road, when you're on our trails, not littering, being polite at all the businesses. I think you can also be um, leaders in the community when you see younger students, and when you're in our parks, and when you are right around and about
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
athletic events and things. So I think that's one way that you can really demonstrate leadership and kindness in the Pioneer Way when you're out and about.
Hmm. How do you think students can create a positive like environment in school?
Hmm. Um, we we have lots of opportunities for leadership through a couple of different leadership classes. Um, this year we had 25 students run for ASB office, which is fabulous. So there's a desire to be leaders in our school, and so then all of those students, if you weren't elected to a position, we're going to find ways for you to be leaders in our school as well. Um, I think that when you help create a bulletin board at our school, or come up with fun ideas for how the color run is going to function for fundraising. You do that in athletics, you do that in music, help with fundraising, those kinds of things. So being positive and actively involved are really important.
What would you say like is the biggest challenge of being a principal?
Oh gosh, the biggest challenge. So, my number one job all day long is to be attentive to what's happening to students at various points in their day. And even though we have excellently behaved students who are really conscientious, sometimes things happen. Middle school is a time of growth and experience. So if you're going to make a mistake, I always say make it in middle school. And sometimes it's difficult to have those conversations with students about behavior choices. And my least favorite part of parent contact is calling a parent to say
Hmm.
a mistake was made, or somebody's gotten hurt, or somebody has made a poor decision. So I would say that's the hardest part of my day, is relaying um, not unhappy news to a parent.
Yeah. What do you think is the most rewarding part of being a principal?
The most rewarding part. Um, I, Gosh, there's several things. I think the most rewarding part would be I really love giving out Lexia tickets on Tuesdays, because I get to call students by name who maybe I don't get to talk to on a
Hmm.
regular basis, have a brief interaction of appreciation for them. Everybody's happy to get a Lexia reward. Um, I get to celebrate kids. So anytime I get to celebrate kids, not just Lexia
Hmm.
ticket time,
Yeah.
but I think that's my favorite part.
How do you make like big decisions that impact the whole school?
Yeah. Um, so I have a leadership team that works with me that represents really all the main departments of our school. I have a wonderful set of assistant principals that work with me and help me think through decisions. There's wonderful leadership in our district office that help me think through decisions. I call fellow principals I've known through the years to talk out complex issues with my team about my school and my team decisions. Um, so I don't make any tough decisions in isolation. I have a wonderful boss as our superintendent, Dr. Waite. So I get to talk with people to process thinking, and fellow principals in the district and my teams here. And so sometimes tough decisions have to be made, and I'm happy to do it. But I use the lens of what's best for students, how can I support teachers, and how can I listen to the voices that I know are trusted and have the same
Hmm.
concern for the decision that I do, understand the same weight of the decision, help me make that from time to time.
Yeah.
What are you
That
most
makes
excited
sense.
about for the future at Pioneer?
Ooh, what am I most excited about for the future? Well, this class, for example, this class in your advanced
Hmm.
video production
Hmm.
is a CTE class, and that stands for Career and Technical Education.
Hmm.
And I'm really excited that we're growing the programs of CTE in our school. Medical Detectives is a CTE class. I want to grow our art program to be a CTE funded class. And down the road, we're looking at making our science classes CTE classes. And that really just broadens experiences, hands on projects, and funding for our school.
Hmm.
So, the more opportunities we can give for students to have exposure for what future careers and education can be, the better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Ms. Fernandez, for joining us today and sharing your story with us. And thank you, Pioneer Pirates, for watching Pioneer Community Connections. Remember, every one of us plays a part in building a positive, respectful, and strong school community. Stay connected, stay involved, and keep showing the Pioneer way. We'll see you next time.